Hello, everyone. I am Carolyn Choate, and my guest today is Alli, who I found on Instagram talking about meta ads. And I was like, oh, you need to come and tell my audience more about meta ads because I took a class in it and it just was so overwhelming. And I thought, and that was several years ago now, and things have probably changed a tremendous amount. So I'm really happy that you are here to give us the behind the scenes details about using Facebook and Instagram ads. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Would you like to introduce yourself and get a little bit of background about how you got started and how long you've been doing this, that kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, I'm Allie. I am the founder of a boutique ads agency, and we focus on Facebook and Instagram ads to grow and scale businesses. I originally was in healthcare, so not at all in the advertising world or even like the business world, really. But after having my own kiddos, after COVID, I really needed to step away and find something new. So, funnily enough, my friend and I started a podcast, and it was all about like healthcare related child development stuff. And in trying to get this podcast up and running, I learned about ads, right? Because we were like, we need people to watch this or listen to this. So I learned all about ads. And unfortunately, the podcast fizzled out with my friend just due to life circumstances. But the ads stayed. And my whole mind was opened to this whole world that honestly, like I didn't know existed because all growing up, I was like, I'm gonna be a nurse. I'm gonna go into like working in a hospital. Like business was not anything on my mind. And so it's been really exciting to the past several years, really dive into this other side of things and learn more about it. So during COVID, I took my first course on ads, learned all about it. And like I said, I was just hooked. So since then, I've taken multiple different courses and I've been running the ads for different businesses now for a couple of years. And I really loved it. And what I love most about it is being able to help other entrepreneurs, especially females and mamas, be able to achieve what they want in their life through their business. Because ads really help, they're an engine and they help us get to the goals, the revenue goals that we want to achieve. And so I love that I'm still able to help people and be a part of like life transformations, but in this different sense than what I originally started out in life as.
Yeah, I love that you describe it as an engine. That's kind of how I look at funnels too. It's like build your little machine, get it running, and ads are a form of traffic that are very powerful but intimidating, especially for solopreneurs. And would you say most of your clients are like service-based, online, or products or local? They're the first.
Yeah. So all of those work for ads, but I tend to focus on online businesses, service providers, and like online coaches and course creators. That's
Mm.
mainly who I serve. And I just feel like called to that area. Not saying that ads can't work for local businesses or other entrepreneurs because they 100% definitely do.
That's my audience as well, for sure. So I think the first question that I really want to find out the answer to is how somebody knows if they're ready for ads, if it's a reasonable thing to jump into, is it going to be worth it budget wise, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and this is probably the most common question that I get from people is how do I know if I'm ready? And one of the simplest answers is, well, do you already have something that's working?
Mhm.
Because ads amplify what's already there. Okay. You mentioned a funnel. That is one of the key elements that you need to have dialed in before running ads, because ads are not going to convert people. A funnel converts people. Ads bring people to your funnel. So a couple of things that I say, okay, you need to have proof of concept. You need to know if your message is resonating, so that we can then amplify it. You also need to consider your goal. Okay, what is your ultimate goal? Are you looking to, build your email list, fill up a coaching program? Are you looking to sell books? Meta ads works for all of these, but it's going to be a different strategy for each one of them. And like you mentioned, are you willing to invest? Okay. Unlike organic marketing, ads obviously require money and testing. And if you're looking for overnight results, or you only have $100 to spend, they're not going to be the right fit for you. And yeah, that is probably one of the biggest obstacles that I find for people is like, I don't know if I have the budget for this. And I want you to know that like you're in the same situation as so many other people, and you can start small and scale, and that is okay.
It's very validating to hear you say that it amplifies what's already working, because I have worked with people who are throwing money at ads that are going to something that's not converting. And the thing that I sound like a broken record about is get a sale organically before you get into paid traffic, because otherwise you're going to be throwing money at it. You don't know where the problem is. So, okay, we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there is one instance that I would say maybe where you're not already having something proven is to grow your email list. But again, you still want an opt-in that people are going to want and a proven landing page for that. So like you still need something proven, but on a very smaller scale.
Yeah,
right?
It's a lot easier to get people to say yes to a free opt-in. They're paying with their email address. It's valuable, but it's not laying out money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you say you can start with a small budget, I was reading something that was like, oh, Facebook ads are great for small businesses. You can start at $5 a day. And I thought, I don't know if $5 a day is actually going to get you anywhere. Like, is that reasonable?
Yeah, so that's also a great question. So many questions about budget, right?
Yeah.
What is reasonable? What's realistic? And honestly, it comes down to what your goals are. One of my biggest things as an ad manager and an ad strategist is setting realistic expectations for my clients. So if they come to me and say, I want to sell my $2,000 course and my ad budget is $5 a day, I'm going to say, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't do that, right? It's literally not realistic. Okay. But if you say, I want to get more people to my blog posts or to my podcast or to like drive traffic to your Instagram page, 100%, $5 a day, we can easily do that. If you want to grow a video audience to then retarget them later on, $5 a day, very doable. So it's really going to depend on what your goal is. And that is where we kind of work backwards to determine that budget. And obviously, like, I work with my clients, okay, this is what your budget is. Let's see, these are options of what you can do moving forward. And then once we get that going and optimized and running well, then we can add in something different that's going to be the longer, bigger, like longer overall arching goal.
Yes. And maybe that $5 a day is to an opt-in email list that then the emails start selling them on the $2,000 course.
Yes, exactly. So those smaller budget is going to be to just bring people in your funnel. You're going to get all of the revenue on the back end. Smaller budget's not going to be an ROI directly. right? But it's going to bring people into that funnel that you've optimized so that you can make sales on the back end.
We also work backwards in building funnels too. Start with the end goal and see what steps do we need to lead up to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of those different touch points, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because as you know, your customer needs multiple touch points in the journey to really be ready to buy from you. And that's one thing that ads can be fantastic with, is just, retargeting who's made it to your landing page, who's engaged with you on social media. And you can make ads specific to that step in their customer journey, and really nurture them even more so.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to throw out this random question that keeps coming up for me. It's boosting posts. Is there any value in that? Because I hear ads people say, like, you get less analytics with that, and you may as well just run a campaign. Well, don't hit that boost post button. You agree with that?
Yeah, I 100% agree with it. So it's kind of like a Band-Aid. Boosting post is the Band-Aid, but it's not a real marketing strategy. And I'm going to tell you the differences, okay?
Okay.
So with boosting a post, it's extremely simple, right? It's not very complicated. But because of that, you lack a lot of control that you get by using Ads Manager. With a boosted post, there's not very many audiences to choose from. It's more broad audience. It's not really strategic. So you can't really narrow down like niche audience segmentation to see, okay, this audience is really working. Again, with that, you can't retarget. So if you boost a post, there's no way then to retarget people that have interacted with that boosted post. Okay. There's also limited optimization. So like what you're wanting the boosted post to work towards. You can get likes and comments, but those are not things that drive your business forward monetarily, right? Whereas in Ads Manager, you can control your audience. You can create custom audiences specific to those that have visited your website, that have engaged on your social media. You can even like get nitty gritty and say who have watched this specific video for this amount of time. There's a lot of control. You can also do lookalike audiences where, if you have an email list of people that have opted into stuff, you can upload it. And then Facebook will use its algorithm to look for people that act like those individuals. And again, you can retarget. Retargeting is magic.
Is there a certain size email list that you would want to have before you upload it for a lookalike audience?
Yeah, so I believe the smallest you can have is 100. I might be a little bit off on that number, but I wouldn't upload it until you have like 1,000. It's nothing's really gonna happen for you with less than that. And that's kind of the same with other audience. Like you want at least 1,000 people that are visiting your website and such to really truly retarget them.
Yes, that aligns with what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah. And the last thing that's really important about using Ads Manager is because you get to choose the different objectives or conversion points within your ads. You can say, okay, I only want people that are going to watch my video. Or you can say, I need people that are ready to buy and do a sales campaign. The algorithm's automatically going to look at people that purchase things. If you're somebody like me, whenever you see an ad about something you want to learn about, you're like, oh, I'm going to click on that. Oh, I'm going to buy that. Like I'm the algorithm's perfect customer for that purchase conversion. But if you're somebody that scrolls past them, algorithm's going to look you over and not put that ad in front of you if it's purchase conversion. However, if it was a video and you like watching videos, then it's going to be like, oh yeah, show this to Alli. She likes to watch videos. So overall, I would say if you're boosting fine for brand awareness, but it is not a good long-term strategy. It is not a way to scale your business. And honestly, there's nothing negative about doing it in Ads Manager. There's only pros. So take the little bit of extra time to figure out how to do it, and it's going to benefit you so much more in the long run.
Now, do you have some tips to make it less confusing, overwhelming, terrifying when you open up that Ads Manager?
Yeah. Because it can be, right? People open it up, they tell me all the time, Alli, I opened it up and I wanted to cry. Or I took this ads course that like helped teach me things and I still feel like I'm flying blindly. Like I have no idea what's going on. So I want you to think about keeping things simple, right? Like, and you know, like with funnels, you can have huge complex funnels, but oftentimes the simple stuff works fantastic. And so I don't want you to go in and set up 10 different campaigns with 5 different ad sets and a bunch of ads in each of them. That's gonna be a hot mess. But a great starting point is focus on one campaign, one audience, and 1 or 2 ads. Okay? Let that run for a little bit, a week. Look at it. Then make changes. One change at a time. Okay.
Just like in science class, only change one variable.
Yes, no, that's exactly right. Running ads is a test. It's an experiment because everybody's business is unique. Everybody's messaging is unique and their target audience is unique. So you have to find all of the variables that fit together to truly like make your campaign work for you. So testing one thing at a time. The next thing that I want you to think about to make it simple is you're going to pick the objective that is the goal for that immediate step in your funnel. Okay. So for example, if you are running a webinar ad, okay, and ultimately on the back end of the webinar, you want people to purchase your course, okay, you're not going to do a sales objective, okay, because yes, that's your overarching goal, but the actual goal of the ad is to get people to watch your webinar, okay? So you are going to choose the campaign, be like a lead form campaign or a lead campaign, complete registration. Those would be the objectives that you're after, not the sale. So get really clear on your objective and choose the one that matches that immediate goal. What is the ad trying to do?
Oh, that's very powerful. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people get hung up on it. And it's interesting because people teach different things too. So that webinar example is actually because I had somebody that's been taught that before. And I was like, oh no, like, I'm sure it probably might work eventually, but there's a much more effective and efficient way to do this. Like we can get you better results when we set it up more effectively.
Yeah, I would imagine that if you're saying that your goal is sales and the sale is 2 or 3 steps down the funnel, you're probably getting very expensive leads where you could get a lot more people at less cost per click if you're sending them to the webinar and then letting the webinar do the next step.
Yeah, that's 100% exactly right. Right? Your costs are just going to be so much more because it's not optimized. It's not set up appropriately.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa, this is very interesting. So I think the next natural step is thinking about, like you said, you let them run, you see how it's working. How would you measure the success and know how is this working?
Yeah, so that is again a great question because you're running and you're like, well, I don't even know what these numbers mean. Like, what is CPM? I've never heard of that before. That's your cost per million, right? How much it costs to get in front of 1,000 accounts. And so there's different benchmarks that you're going to be working for or working towards. And there's, all of these benchmarks say something about how the ad is performing. So typically with like a lead campaign, you're going to be looking at what is the cost per lead and what's the conversion rate. Okay. Those are going to be like your true north metrics. You can look at all of the other metrics, but those are the ones you're going to be looking at first because they're the ones that ultimately drive the rest of the metrics. Okay. But you're going to be looking at those and the other metrics and then thinking about, okay, if my click-through rate is low, what is that saying? Why is it low? Okay. Usually that's a messaging thing. It's the wrong audience. There's troubleshooting things. I actually have a guide that troubleshoots. Like, so it will tell you, okay, what's your KPI? And then you can go through the troubleshooting guide and be like, oh, okay, so for a high cost per click, these are some of the things that I should test and change. And so that's kind of that's one of the things I have. And you really don't know that until you get the experience or like in-depth courses and training. It's not something you can really Google. If you Google, you'll get answers. They just might not be great answers.
They're also probably going to contradict each other and be very hard to interpret.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing I would say too is that, like, I give my clients benchmarks to look for with almost all of their metrics. However, the cost per lead, I can't tell them a benchmark if they haven't run ads before. If I can't audit their account and see what's happened in the past. And the reason being is, yes, you can generalize for like the coaching industry, but it's going to be like a fairly large range. And you get more specific when you run ads yourself. So for example, I had a client that was running a webinar ad, and if you Google it, the lead costs can be up to like $16 and still be considered like good. And hers were like $6. So I'm like, this is great. But I saw somebody else was like, oh, I thought that leads for webinars were supposed to be like $3.
Oh.
I'm like, ooh, that's really low. Like, if that's your expectation, we probably need to talk things through. So that's the one like indicator that I really can't give you a straightforward answer until you've run ads yourself for that offer.
Okay. So if people wanted to hire you, what is the first step and how do they,
Yeah, great question, right? So if they wanted to hire me specifically, you could book a call with me. We do a 15-minute kind of strategy session, see what's been working already for you, what you've been doing, where you're at in your business, and what your goals are moving forward. And then I outline a couple of different steps that could help you move forward. So I offer a done for you management and setup where I do everything. It's done for you, right? Like you get to take it off of your plate. You don't have to worry about it. We obviously touch base and communicate, and you can be as much a part of it as you want to be, but you can also be like, thanks, Alli, I appreciate it, right? And like take that whole thing outside of your mind. You delegated it, kind of like how I like to do grocery delivery. Like I just put it out and it's gone. Another thing that I do is an ad audit and a strategy session. So if you're somebody that has taken an ad course before, you kind of know the basics of how to set something up, but you don't know the strategy behind everything or how to utilize your funnel that you have and the best touch points and when to run ads for it. That would be perfect for you. Okay. And then I also offer coaching calls as well. We usually do like either a setup or an ad audit before that. But those are kind of the ways. The first thing's booking a strategy call.
Yeah.
And that's going to be pretty similar across the industry. Is there's typically going to be a touch point with the ad manager or the ad strategist, and there is a difference between the two of those too.
Oh,
So that's something to be mindful of.
please tell me more. What
Oh,
is
yeah. So typically, an ad manager is somebody that can go in, manage your ads, do the basic stuff, right? Totally great with like email growth lists, optimizing simple campaigns. But they're not somebody necessarily trained in how to optimize it and create a fuller big ad strategy for your complete funnel, right? That is where a strategist would come in. Somebody that's kind of the mental thinker behind everything and has that brain power, whereas a manager is the one just like implementing, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Strategists can also implement, but there's typically going to be a little bit more thought behind what is happening.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yes. This has been very enlightening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
have
so
any
glad.
further thoughts that you would like to share? Anything I didn't think to ask that you think is important to know?
Yeah, I think that, if you are feeling like you're ready for ads or want to run ads to make a difference, I would say as long as you have those things we talked about in the first place, you have a proven offer, your stuff is converting, like start, right? Because the sooner you start and get optimized, the sooner you can scale, which is huge. But don't start before you're too ready. Which, by the way, I have a free quiz that if you are thinking, okay, I think I'm ready, but I'm not sure, you can go to my website. It's go.allimarler.com/quiz.
Mhm.
And you can take this quiz and it will tell you, like, are you ready or are there tweaks that you need to make? Or are you like close to it? And then you can go from there and make more of an educated decision
And I'm
before
assuming
reaching
at
out
the
to
end of the
people.
quiz, if it says you're ready, there's the book a call with you option there.
Yeah, there is. It's
Good.
part of my funnel.
Exactly. Make sure there. We'll have the link for that in the description for sure, so people can go ahead and take that, see where they're at in terms of being ready, and get on a call with you if they want to see what you might be able to do for them. This might just be my own biases, but I'm kind of terrified of ads, so this is all sounding very good to me. Uh, Definitely take it away, take it off my plate.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I so appreciate you having me on and just talking about ads and helping people, continue growing their funnels.
I can tell you love ads as much as I love funnels. Whole thing.
I get the vibe.